Good morning, one and all present over here. I'm Samita Sengupta, representing Business Economics Department from Kes Shroff Degree College. Today, I'm going to speak on public revenue. Now, what is the meaning of public revenue? When we talk about public revenue, it is the revenue which refers to the income of the government from all sources. Now, here I want to say that income of the government. Now here the income is coming into the pocket of the government from all sources. For example, now it may be the income tax, it may be the direct tax, it may be the indirect tax, etc., etc. And this public revenue consists of the taxes, revenues coming from the administrative activities, various other kind of activities. For example, they may be the fee, they may be the gift, they may be the grants, etc., etc. So here we can say like this, that the public revenue refers basically the income of the government, which is coming from the various sources. It may be from people's direct income, it may be from indirect tax, it may be from other category of the administrative and economical activities. So when we talk about the source of public revenue, there we can say that a tax revenue. Now here, tax means when we talk about the tax in this concept, it basically the income tax, which where the people are earning their money, and from their hard-earned income, they paying some taxes to the people. From their hard-earned income, they are paying some amount of the money, and they're sacrificing some amount of money into the pocket of the government, which is known as the tax, or you can say the income tax. So when we want to discuss, and if we want to discuss the features of taxation, the first point that we can explain that a tax is basically imposed statutorily by the public authority or the government on the people. Now here, if I want to clarify this point, I can say like this, that a tax is imposed by the government whereby the people who are having a permanent income, who is having a permanent income earning capacity, from their hard-earned money, they are paying and they're sacrificing some amount of money into the pocket of the government. And in this way, we can say that in this aspect, we can say that the government is imposing the tax burden on the people. The second features of taxation that we can talk about, a tax is a compulsory payment to be paid by the citizens who are liable to pay. Because when we are demanding that we are the citizen of India, for example, likewise, we are also equally accountable to pay the taxes to the government, because with this taxable income, which is going into the pocket of the government is maintaining various kinds of advantageous situation, or government is creating some sort of facilities for the societal growth and societal progress. And also, if the people are not paying the proper way of taxes, then they are punishable. Then we can say that there is no direct pro quo between the taxpayers and the public authority, meaning the people are paying the taxes because they are liable to pay the taxes, because at the same time, they are also demanding that they are the citizen of India. So from that point of view also, the citizen of India have got some accountability and responsibility towards Indian government, and for that, they are paying the taxes. And also, it does not mean that since they're paying the taxes, those citizens are going to enjoy some sorts of advantages or facilities. It's not like this. So it is their authority, and also it is the responsibility and accountability on the part of the Indian citizen that they will have to pay the taxes regularly to the government. Then every tax involves some sacrifice. Obviously, when the people are paying the taxes, it is their hard-earned limited money income. From there, they paying the taxes to the government, which is going into the pocket of the government, and also at the same time, government is utilizing on those public funds in order to maintain societal growth and progress for the improvement of the country and also of the nation. And this tax is levied to meet public spending. Now here I want to clarify what is the meaning of the public spending. Spending for the people, by the people, for example, infrastructural development, for example, construction of the roads, railways, metro rail project, okay, construction of the school building, college building, construction of the many more hospitals, library, construction of the roads, airways. So all these are the example of the societal growth, and for that it is important for the government to meet public expenditure, and this public expenditure is coming from the public revenue, and for that at the same time government is also equally accountable how they are going to utilize the public fund for the progress of the nation and also for the progress of the country. Now, if we want to clarify more that what about the features of the taxes, then a tax has to be paid regularly and periodically as determined by the taxing authority. There should not be any kinds of invasion or there should not be any kinds of evasion of the taxes by the people, that here they do not want to pay the taxes, and in that situation they will be punishable. Then a tax is based on the income and also on the commodity. Obviously, when the tax is imposed on the income of the people, it is known as income tax. When it is imposed on the commodity, it is known as commodity tax. Now, for example, sales tax. When we are buying any costly commodity, indirectly we are paying the sales tax, and which is collected by the government. Then also we can say that the government collect the tax revenue basically by the two ways. One way is the direct tax, for example, income tax. Another is the indirect tax, okay, where we can give the example of custom duty, sales tax, property tax, etc., etc. So in this way also we can explain the features of taxation. Now, if we want to really clarify the objectives of the taxation, now objective of the taxation, now here the question arises, why the tax is imposed on the people or on the people's income? Now, tax is imposed on the people's income to raise revenue, to raise fund, to raise finance for the improvement of the nation. But at the same time, when the government is collecting public revenue, it has to be utilized in a very, very authentic and responsible manner so that people of the nation at the end must be able to realize the positive outcome of the public revenue spent by the government. And also, another objective we can discuss here, that it should be able to reduce income inequalities. Inequalities of income has been accentuated and has been, has been existing in the nation right from the independence till today. So the income inequalities has to be reduced. It has to be eradicated. And for that, equal distribution of income and wealth. For example, it may be the way of capital formation. For example, in the way of enjoying all the advantages and the facilities. It may be distributing of some, the capital funds, or maybe some money or some facilities. So, and also we will have to take care that income inequalities has to be reduced. That is, the gap between have and have nots has to be reduced. Then the third objective of the taxation, reducing regional disparity. Regional disparity, here I want to clarify that regional disparity means unequal development or unequal development in between the region, in between the areas, in between the locality, and also maybe in between the state. So here, when the central government through budget allocation, they are allocating the fund in the hands of the state government, here it is important for the central government to verify the matter, that how they are able to justify that. Meaning thereby, when they are allocating the resources, okay. Now, for example, it may happen that in some of the states, some specific area, maybe for example, some rural area are undeveloped and underdeveloped. So from that perspective, we can say that here the state government, when they are demanding money specifically for bringing about improvement in that undeveloped region, the central government in these aspects must cooperate, and they must distribute the fund in an equitable manner. And also at the same time, it is accountability on the part of the state government to utilize all the funds to bring about development, prosperity in that particular area, in that particular locality, specifically giving focus on creation of the employment opportunity for all categories of people, irrespective of caste, creed, color, religion, and races. So in this way, to some extent, if the taxation is imposed in a systematic and in a very, very apprehended manner or apprehensive manner, then to some extent, regional disparity can be reduced. Protecting domestic industry is another objective of the taxation. Unnecessary imposition of the taxes on the small investors, for example, or maybe on the small entrepreneurs, creating trouble. And as a result, the new upcoming businessmen or the entrepreneurs are finding it difficult to start up the new small industrialization process, and therefore to bring about development in that particular area. So through proper taxation policy, domestic industry has to be protected in a very, very positive and in a very, very cordial manner. And also another objective of taxation, regulation of consumption and social welfare. Now, when we talk about regulation of consumption, consumption has to be regulated, consumption has to be created, aggregate demand has to be created, and that is possible only through the creation and generation of income earning capacity. And from that perspective, it should be one of the important mission of the central government as well as of the state government to create and generate employment opportunities for all categories of the people. And regarding employment generation in the rural area, the government must focus on the establishment of micro, small and medium enterprises, for example, establishment of the handicraft industrialization process, for example, establishment of the allied agricultural activities, for example, extending the field area for the cultivation process, creating cultivable area so that all category of the farmers, they may be a small farmers, for example, they may be a medium level of farmers, everybody must get the equal opportunity to do the cultivation on the specific agricultural land. So in this way, when the income will be created, automatically the consumption will be generated, but it has to be generated in a limited manner because more consumption also is likely to create the inflationary situation in the economy. And as far as the consumption and welfare aspect is concerned, obviously when the people will be able to get employment opportunity, maybe on a small account or maybe on a permanent account, that time they will be able to maintain the basic necessities of life in the name of the food, clothing and shelter. In this way, they will be able to maintain the minimum subsistence standard of the living. Thus, every category of the people will be able to realize the social welfare measures which the government is implementing through various taxation policy. And one of the important objectives of the taxation, price stability. There should not be any source of price fluctuation, but practically it is very difficult for the government and also for the state government to implement it. So price stability has to be maintained. For that, RBI has to implement proper policy resolution in order to take a control of the inflationary situation, in order to take control of the price fluctuation, because price fluctuation creates in the mind of the consumers the confusion, for example, how to spend money, where to spend money, what to buy and what not to buy. As far as the control of cyclical fluctuations is concerned, now this concept of cyclical fluctuation can be related with the various sorts of economical activity as well as the business activity. And also it is important for the government and also for the RBI to regulate, to control the cyclical fluctuations of all sorts of economical activity. And for that, it is important for those associations to take appropriate measure to bring down cyclical fluctuation within certain limit. When we talk about the reducing balance of payment difficulty, that means equality has to be created between income and expenditure. Equality has to be created between export and import of the country, but always it is not possible. And for that, proper policy measures has to be developed, has to be reconstructed, has to be re-implemented in the best possible manner so that the balance of payment difficulty can be avoided. When we talk about the promoting macro level objective, for example, creation and generation employment opportunity for all categories of the people. For example, providing education facility to all categories of the student, irrespective of caste, creed, color, religion, and races. For example, enjoying medical facilities by all categories of the population, irrespective of gender disparity. And also, of taxation is able to create gender parity and gender equality if the taxation is collected in a proper manner, because the money which is collected or the revenue which is collected by the taxation, the government must be able to utilize those funds for bringing about equality between men and women. Then only the societal progress will take place. And in that way, we can say, if we can implement all the objectives of the taxation in a conducive manner, then it will result into societal growth and progress and also prosperity of the nation. Thank you.